You know who doesn't mess around, Dave, is us. And we got a ton of sports to talk about today.
Sure?
There was a Super Bowl that went on. There is NBA trade news. There's an NBA trade that happened. And then also there's baseball. And Dave loves to talk about baseball, right? You love that.
I don't have to talk about baseball.
Does not mean Jake will be on later on to talk about some baseball in the show. Before we get into everything, though, let's go through the housekeeping. Number one, if you're not a part of the greatest community in the universe, join the MVP Discord today. Link down below or exclamation Discord. Get you that link into Twitch chat. If you'd like to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you can do that and get rewarded for doing so. We got different rewards at the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum tiers. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch at twitch.tv/MVPvids. Almost forgot. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. We are live on Twitch every Monday through Friday. We are also on YouTube at MVP Sports. So go ahead, like, follow, and sub at all those two places so you never miss anything from MVP. Our show is also sponsored by Manscaped, but we will definitely get into their greatness later on. And Dave, first thing we have to talk about, or rant about basically, because for me it's just going to be ranting, is I guess there was a Super Bowl yesterday that happened. The Patriots did win, or not the Patriots, the Buccaneers did win 31-9. Tom Brady, like, it's just one of those things, Dave, where
that's a bit of a slide there. I think that was intentional.
You just you forget that Tom Brady moved over to the NFC. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31, the Chiefs at 9. There's a lot to unpack here, Dave. A lot of fallout. You got the refs and their shenanigans. You've got the MVP and their shenanigans. There was some shit going on between Tom Brady and the Honey Badger last night that came out today. And then also Mrs. Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' wife, also got into it with ESPN on Twitter after the game. She was none too happy. That one's just easy. She was none too happy at the Twitter feed for ESPN and SportsCenter making fun of her hubby. So she was quoting and letting them know that they are trash for doing so, which a part of me just goes, that's social media. Like, if you ain't winning, you're getting dissed. But Dave, what were your thoughts on the big game? 31-9, Tom Brady, Super Bowl numero siete? Siete 7? Super Bowl 7.
Victory number 7?
Yeah, victory number 7.
Super Bowl, is he up to 10?
Yeah,
10 appearances, 10 appearances, 7 wins, kind of fucking ridiculous. Tom Brady, greatest player of all time in football history. I mean, it's hard to say anything outside of just this was a game that, we talked about how it was going to go down. It was, can Patrick Mahomes understand, read, and adjust to the pressure that defense is going to bring to him? And he couldn't. Simple as it was, he couldn't. Like, we got to point 1 and we nailed it, Ricky. I feel pretty proud of what we said last Friday. So we called it. Didn't know that he was going to be so bad at doing that. That his whole team was just going to be shit.
It also helped that the refs were in the pocket of Tom Brady, though, Dave.
Well,
there were a lot of calls out there that I don't know what world they were living in, but I didn't see what was going on out there.
Someone would say, the refs were a little impartial. Being that the Chiefs did have the most penalties against in the first half of a Super Bowl game. And I think they only had 1 against the Bucs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Overall, it was 11 penalties for 120 yards against the Chiefs, 4 penalties for 39 yards against the Bucs.
Yeah, so that's by the end of the game. So yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. Really, the refs did make a big difference in that first half of the game, but honestly, like, that was a very close half of football, and then the second half just did not feel. It felt very unenthusiastic. I had a hard time staying in it because I think at that point we were all outraged at some horrible ref calls.
Well, and I mean, like, that's the thing where it's numerous sides I've seen where there are some people that are like, yes, they were holding and it was the right call. Bullshit, you're wrong. The middle part of, well, like for the ones on Gronk is such big of a guy, so they have to do something. They were just getting called for holds. It's like, okay, I see where you're going from. You just don't want to commit to the right side. And for me, there were some penalties. I'm not saying all 11 were not there, but it's funny that, like, every single time there'd be a good play for the Chiefs, that yellow fucking laundry would be thrown out on the field.
I mean, the interception that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. The interception that didn't happen. Probably the only one that I can think of that was like actually a good call was on the field goal. I guess it did look like the Chiefs line was a little bit curved on the edges. So okay, onside kick call. But like at that point, there were so many flags, anyways, that it was like this is not just the one linchpin in the game to where it's like this is where I go, and this is any sport for me, Dave, to where I absolutely hate it where we get to a final game, we get to a final series, depending on the sport. And it's like in those moments, I feel like the refs are supposed to swallow their whistle to where it's like, hey, if it's egregious, go out there and call it. But like, this should be the moment where it's like, fucking let them play, right? Fucking just let the guys play.
I 100% agree with you. I think this should have been a game that they let them get more physical on. Mm-hmm. None of the penalties were on plays that really, in my mind, were game-changing, game-changing issues. Like you said, the holding, the off-ball calls that was happening on the other side of the field. Like, shit like that is what gets me angry. It's like, just swallow that. Like, we don't need to deal with that. Like, it had nothing to do with the play. It had zero outcome. It had zero effect. He wasn't going to get the ball. Like, none of that matters. Don't fucking don't waste all of our time and, take back from the defense their job there. So I think that's really the frustration was just we knew it should have been closer than it was to start, but you do have to admit, like, that pressure, that fucking
the defense
front is just insane.
That leads me into my second point, Dave. How did not one defensive player from the Bucs get MVP? Devin White, Shaq Barrett, JPP, any of them, fuck, even Ndamukong Suh, one of them deserved to be MVP. Am I wrong? Because this was a huge debate in the Discord last night of, yes, I get the point of like, ooh, Tom Brady, 7 rings. Yeah, it's great. He's the GOAT. We get it. We get that they're also not in the Super Bowl without him. But the Super Bowl MVP is not about what you did all season. It is about what you did in this game. And for me, I think it's a bigger deal that this defense held Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs out of the end zone all game. I know that Sean was saying all night, he's like, but Brady had 3 touchdowns. But Brady had 3 touchdowns. But Brady had 3 touchdowns. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. If Patrick Mahomes is scoring, it don't matter that Brady had 3 touchdowns because he's probably losing. Like, that to me is the bigger deal that this defense was able to keep Patrick Mahomes out of the end zone where when's the last game he had no touchdowns this season? Probably never.
Not this season. I don't think he's at a start where he hasn't thrown a touchdown, Ricky. I think this was his first game where he started. He didn't throw a touchdown. It's pretty fucking wild. But the problem is you can't just give it to the whole defense,
I would have given it to Shaq Barrett or Devin White. They would have been my two favorites.
That's because you had a bet on one of those players winning something. But
no, I had a bet on JPP.
Oh, you had a bet on JPP.
Yeah,
okay,
JPP,
okay.
$5, $400.
To be fair, Pat Mahomes did throw a touchdown. It literally bounced off of his player's helmet.
Yeah.
He was going full Matrix and just fucking slung it. Like, incredible action. He is, I say Tom Brady is the greatest player to have ever played the sport. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen, though. Like, the skills he has in that position, it's incredible. What he was able to do, and it's unfortunate that his team could not, finish the job for him, but he is just a different kind of fucking beast out there. So, I mean, it wasn't a good game, obviously, but like, I don't know. I think it's one of those games where you just go, well, you look at it clearly without a bias, and you go, exactly, JD. Chiefs couldn't catch the fucking ball. That was a big problem. But their replacement offensive line, I mean, against the best defensive line we've seen in a long time, that should have been obvious to us.
Eric Fisher being one of the big ones that wasn't out there, but he wasn't the only one.
They had 3. I think they were missing 3 or 4 starters at their normal positions. So yeah, no, it's really unfortunate for them that their weakest position was the one that matched up poorest against the best from the Bucs defense. So again, maybe we gave too much credit to Pat Mahomes going into the game. Maybe we gave too much credit to that offense. But clearly, when push comes to shove, they got pushed the fuck around.
Yeah. I mean, that's why to me it's like there's not one single thing that cost them this game. It's a lot of different things, some of them bad, some of them good. Also, a little bit of research. There have been 3 times, this is now the 4th, where Patrick Mahomes has had 0 touchdowns after starting a game. 2 in 2017. One was week 6 against the Jaguars, where the Chiefs won 30-14. That was
they won 30-14, and he didn't throw one. Wow.
Yep, and he did not throw a single touchdown.
Did he
run for any? Yeah, he ran one in. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown, and then the defense came up big. In the divisional round against the Colts that same year, he threw no touchdowns. They won 31-13 over the Colts. And then the Lions in 2018, they won 34-30. Matt Stafford threw 3 touchdowns. Mahomes threw 0. LaShawn McCoy had a touchdown in that game. And the
I was gonna say, so
won.
literally all those games were just they had a run game still, so it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and Mahomes
that was a designated play calling.
Yeah, Williams and LaShawn McCoy, 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. And then they had a defensive touchdown, I believe, against the Lions. So, that's a reason. But then there's also the thing that is coming out where the Honey Badger Tom Brady drama, where apparently there are some people that said that Tom Brady might have said something to the Honey Badger that I cannot repeat on this program, Dave.
That's what Tyrann Mathieu said.
But also it's that's hearing that last night, I was like,
some people. You mean Tyrann Mathieu said that?
Then why is it when I read the report today from ESPN that it's like, well, Tom Brady apologized to Tyrann Mathieu for losing his composure? It's like, that still sounds like if you said what he said you said. Like, it doesn't matter if you lost your composure, Dave. You shouldn't have said it.
I don't know what he said.
Yeah, the thing that I take away from this, and I'm like, yeah, you got a fucking point here, is the Honey Badger after the game, he's clearly chasing me, but I got flagged.
Yeah, that is what we all, like, I remember when that happened, I was yelling at the fucking TV at the refs.
Yeah.
Because it's some bullshit. Like, it's a clear bias, and it's you got to support the shield. And oh my God, can you get further up the NFL's ass than Tony Romo's tongue? I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. That man...
Love Romo, but you're right.
Normally people love Romo. But the fucking fake outrage from Tony Romo over the peace sign right back at you, motherfucker. I could not believe it. I thought that was so fucking beyond, like, get off your goddamn high horse.
All game it's been like, that's a good call, that's a good call, that's not a bad call, that's a good call.
All night. That man was brown-nosing.
Yeah. Also, I hate CBS, by the way, because they have Gene Steratore as their like, rules official. And, like, when they brought him in for one of the penalties, and he was like, you know, that's a good call. It's like, so it was a bad call, because whatever you say, the opposite is true.
Usually you're wrong by a large percentage.
But, Dave, moving away from football, we did have basketball news that happened this week.
Well, hang on. Matt Murph's got a quick follow-up question.
What do you say? What do you say?
If you're the Chiefs now, what do you do? Who you trading? Who you trying to sign? I don't think you do any of that shit. I think you got the best team in the NFL. You just didn't have your offensive lineman there. So when your offensive lineman comes back from being a doctor in Canada, helping to, save the fucking world, and everybody else is healthy on that offensive line, you'll be fine.
Is this a serious question? Is this a serious question, Mad Rogue? Because you're right, do nothing. Like, there's a part of me that wants to go, is Mad Rogue being sarcastic here? Is he doing the traditional, like, blow it up, like the Bulls fans? Blow it up, man. We're a losing team, blow it up. You don't do anything. Like, you're the best team. You just didn't have, like you said, I'm going to reiterate everything you just said. You didn't have your offensive line out there that was able to have a great defense on the other side that had great players do great things against you. And that's what you need sometimes. You need a full team. You can't just win it on your own. Basketball, you can. Football, you absolutely can.
Go ahead and draft another offensive lineman in the first couple rounds. Draft a backup wide receiver. And that's about it. I mean, that's... I hear some people saying you might have to find a new punter, though. I don't know.
Maybe McAfee comes out of retirement.
He did make a mention, but he was going more for the Tampa Bay side. He's like, I could join Tom down there.
Jesus. Wouldn't have to deal with COVID next year, hopefully.
Would not have to deal with COVID.
Hopefully.